One of the things that we've been talking a lot about recently internally within our team is kind of women in the workplace and unconscious biases and all this stuff. And I recently read Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, which I thought was really good.
Yeah.
If someone is listening to this who either is a woman in the workplace or is working with women in the workplace, what advice would you share based on your experiences?
Well, a couple things. First and foremost, choose being the victor over being the victim always. And I've found it to be a huge benefit that I'm a woman in the workplace. Huge. Because I look different than everybody else, especially in finance. I'm much more memorable. I have a different way to engage with people. And so I liked Sheryl's book a lot too. And I like this idea of like, I don't know, what if you change the story? What if your story is not the man's out to get me and men are XYZ and we have this conflict in the workforce? What if the story is instead, I'm incredibly powerful as a woman. I look a little different than everybody else. And because of that, I'm going to have massive success. And what if all these men could be my advocates? One of my mentors told me something that I thought was kind of true. He's like, the men that work with you typically either want to father you, they want to friend you, or they want to fuck you, right? There's like 3 types. And you got to figure out pretty quickly which one of those 3 they fall into. And then you use that to your advantage. And, I did that pretty specifically. If there's a guy who wants to father you, that's amazing. That's a mentor figure, right? And you can lean into that, feeling of like, oh, my daughter, or, I want to help a young woman get along. Great. If they want to be friends with you, then great. You work that angle. And the third are the ones you have to be careful of, but there's also power in that too. And I think a lot of people today, we want to like kill our sexuality in the workforce. And I don't really think that's necessary, actually. I think you can flirt, you can use the natural chemistry that happens between men and women to your advantage. And you can do it in a way that's ethical, and you can do it in a way that's moral, and you can do it within your own personal code and the code of the company. But don't wrap up your power. I mean, I remember when I first started at Vanguard, I cut my hair really short. I have a lot of hair, so I just looked like a mushroom. It was not good for anybody involved. And I barely wore any makeup, and I wore these like awful boxy suits. And I thought that I had to like become a man to get into the workforce. And it couldn't have been more opposite. I could have been exactly who I wanted to be. And that probably would have been more powerful, but it was a lesson I had to learn.